In the later stages of the war, Germany was focused on more armour and heavier guns in their armour designs. Probably the ultimate production variant of this philosophy to see service was the Jagdtiger, a 12.8 cm armed heavy tank destroyer. Berlin German for Flames of War gives you the chance to field them in the game. Join me for a look at Battlefront's plastic kit of this massive vehicle. This is GBX179, the Jagdtiger tank hunter platoon from Battlefront. This very late war unit originally came out as part of the Berlin German release for Flames of War. It's now also included in Late War Leviathans and Clash of Steel. The Flames of War platoon box only provides 3 vehicles, but trust me, that's quite a lot of Jagdtiger. Jagdtiger was a tank destroyer based on the chassis of the Tiger II. Tiger II was already a monster, but Jagdtiger had even thicker armour and, being a tank destroyer, could mount an even heavier gun. In this case, that was the 12.8 cm cannon based on the PaK-44 anti-tank gun. The gun fired massive shells that could destroy any armoured vehicle in service at the time. The gun was mounted on a boxy armoured casemate, formed by extending the hull side plates. Mantlet protection was a thick, Sauerkopf style, angled to deflect incoming rounds. Crew was 6 men, a driver, assistant driver, loader, assistant loader, gunner and commander. The gun fired 2-part ammunition, so the crew had 2 separate loaders, one for the projectile and one for the cased propellant charge. The engine was a V12 Maybach HL230, mounted in the rear of the hull. It developed about 600 horsepower. Unfortunately, Jagdtiger weighed in at over 70 tons. The engine lacked sufficient power to push around that weight of armour and gun. Combined with a complex interleaved suspension, Jagdtiger lacked the mobility aspect of armoured vehicle design. The transmission also proved inadequate for the load, particularly under the strain of continually having to pivot the vehicle's weight to lay the gun on any targets outside 10 degrees of centreline. Jagdtiger was difficult to even get into combat. Given Germany had gone over to the defensive in the later stages of the war, this might not seem like a bad thing. However, if you're outnumbered, the ability to quickly switch your resources from one threat to another is an important tactical consideration. So while Jagdtiger and the other upcoming German designs like Maus and E100 were impressive technical achievements, they did have significant disadvantages. That's not to say they weren't devastating to Allied troops when they came up against them, but with only about 70 or 80 produced, there were never going to be enough of them to affect the outcome of the war. Jagdtigers provided limited tactical superiority when they were encountered by enemy forces, but didn't provide a significant strategic or operational advantage. Only 2 units operated Jagdtiger, the 512th and 653rd Heavy Anti-Tank Battalions. The first vehicle started reaching units in September 1944. Combat accounted for just 20% of overall losses. Most Jagdtigers were lost through mechanical breakdowns or lack of fuel, and had to be destroyed or abandoned by their crews. Allied bombing of the Nibelungen work factory in Austria interfered with production, which peaked at 20 in December 1944, but fell to only 4 in May 1945. Lack of 12.8 cm guns forced some of the last production vehicles to be fitted with the 8.8 cm PaK-43 instead. Reportedly, none of this variant ever left the factory. Surviving Jagdtigers were surrendered to the Allies at the end of the war, with examples on display at Bovington in the UK, Kubinka in Russia, and the US Army Armour and Cavalry Collection, Fort Moore, Georgia. If we look at the back of the box, there's an image of the completed kit and an exploded assembly diagram. Parts count of this kit is higher than many Battlefront plastic kits. The vehicle is a complex shape, and things like the front, side and rear casemate vertical surfaces need to be separate parts to capture all the detail on the mould. Looks like you need all the parts, with the only option being the open or closed commander's hatch. The box contains parts to build 3 vehicles. As an Allied player, that's more than enough. There's also a decal sheet. Let's look at the plastic. The parts come on 2 sprues of mustard yellow plastic. Moulding is good and strong, with sufficient detail in strong relief. The parts count could have been reduced if the spare track links were moulded onto the casemate sides, but having separate track links lets you individualise each vehicle's stowage. This first sprue has the lower hull and tracks, hull rear, exhaust, side skirts and bow machine gun, and not forgetting the essential panzer bucket. The second has the upper hull, glacis plate, casemate sides and main gun. Tracks are one-piece parts. Interestingly, there's track detail on the top of the track run, but it's simplified once it rounds the idler and drive sprocket. Jagdtiger has 2 suspension options, the 9 road-wheel Henschel version and the 8-wheel Porsche. This kit has the most common type, the Henschel. There's plenty of good details on the wheels. Of course, the tracks are keyed, so they'll only go on the right way. The hull rear is similar to the King Tiger. Detail includes a jacking block and a pair of towing clevises, plus a circular space for mounting the exhaust. That's this piece. It has 2 simple exhaust pipes with armoured collars at the base. These, plus the circular access plate and jack, are all moulded as a single part. This will make it nice and easy to install. The ends of the exhaust pipes are moulded concave at the ends. A nice touch. Nearby is the bow machine gun ball mount and the panzer bucket. Buckets are ubiquitous stowage for German vehicles in World War II. The lower hull piece is pretty simple. There are keyed slots for the track parts. Jagdtiger has side skirts, the same as King Tiger. The vehicle is seen in action with, without and with partial skirts. You can have fun customising these to your own tastes. That's it apart from 8 spare track links. These didn't have to be separate parts either, but moulding them that way gives you options. Moving to the second sprue, the upper hull has lots of detail on the upper surfaces, like engine deck grills, filler ports and air filters, as well as hatches for the driver and bow gunner. There's a hole for an open or closed commander's hatch. There's no side detail and the glacis plate is a separate piece. That's here. It has the front fenders, towing shackles and a folding gun crutch. The half-moon indent is the mounting point for the bow machine gun. The casemate walls and hull sides are a single piece for each side. This engineering choice gives better detail than moulding the upper hull all as one piece. The trade-off is a more complex assembly, and you'll need to take care aligning edges to avoid gaps. You can clearly see the joins of the interlocking armour plates moulded onto these parts. There's also some towing cables, something Jagdtiger crews needed easy access to. The commander's hatches are simple hatches, not a coupler with vision blocks. There's an open and closed version supplied. This is the barrel of the 12.8cm Pak 44 gun. This is just a straight barrel without any muzzle brake. The part has a D-shaped key where it fits into the mantlet. The mantlet is a Saukop for pig's head style with a shot-deflecting ballistic curved shape. As well as being a thick piece, the shape is designed to deflect incoming shells. You can see the key for the barrel here quite clearly. This just leaves the casemate front plate, the casemate rear doors, and the AA machine gun mount. The gun mounts onto the engine deck. That should see off any pesky Allied jubbos that dare to attack this vehicle. It actually looks a bit fragile to me. It's optional, so I plan to leave it off. So that's Battlefront's plastic Jagdtiger kit. It builds up fine and certainly looks the part. There's quite a few parts to this kit, but some of that complexity is to preserve detail on the mouldings. While every care has been taken to make the edges fit together, you'll still need to take care here. I minimised gaps in the hull joints, but couldn't eliminate them entirely. I would suggest gluing the hull rear to the upper hull piece first, and then slotting that into the lower hull when dry. It's the only way to avoid gaps with the back of the engine deck. The glasses plate piece at the front is more forgiving. Let's look at Jagdtiger on the table. It's a tank unit with the Stormtrooper's special rule. Units with the Stormtrooper's rule may attempt a second movement order if they succeed their first movement order in a turn. This lets German units blitz and follow me or shoot and scoot. Motivation is a confident 4+, and these are motivated German troops defending their homelands with a last stand of 3+. However, their counterattack is 5+. Jagdtiger is not made for close combat. Veteran crews have a 3+ skill rating, but an assault of 4. They're also careful, hit on a 4+. Front armour is 17, even more than the Tiger II. Side is 8 and top 2. This thick front armour is going to cause difficulties for most Allied guns head-on. They'll need to manoeuvre for flank shots to have a chance. Tactical move is 8 inches or 20 centimetres. Jagdtiger is slow. Even the road dash is just 16 inches. However, the nice wide tracks still give it a 3+ cross. The 12.8 cm gun has a 48 inch or 120 cm range. That means it can cover most of a 6x4 table if there's no blocking terrain or woods. Halted rate of fire is 2 and moving of 1. I guess those two loaders are working hard. Anti-tank is 18 with a 2+ firepower. Anything you hit is going to know about it. I think AT-18 will go through 2 Shermans end to end. The special rules are brutal, forward firing and slow firing. Brutal has infantry, gun and unarmoured tank teams re-rolling successful saves. Forward firing makes sense with the Jagdtiger's limited traverse casemate mounted gun. So does slow firing, which gives Jagdtiger a +1 to hit penalty when firing on the move. It's an ambush weapon, not built to load the gun or acquire and track targets effectively while on the move. The hull machine gun also gets forward firing. This also makes sense with the gun in a ball mount on the glasses plate. I did chuckle that there's no stat line for the optional AA machine gun on the rear deck. Battlefront must think it's as effective as I do, so Jagdtiger can't fire at attacking aircraft, even in self-defense. Jagdtigers are available in the Berlin Jagdtiger Tank Hunter Platoon, a Berlin German support option, but you won't be fielding many. You can take 1, 2 or 3 tank hunters, but they clock in at around 16 points each. You can also take them as a support choice in Late War Leviathans. Check out page 5 of the PDF. They're also available in Clash of Steel. So that's the Jagdtiger for Flames of War. To be honest, it's a bit of a fiddly build with plenty of dry fitting and jiggering around to get it together. But it does end up as a good representation of the Jagdtiger. As an Allied player, I hate to see these in the game, but I'm guessing German players are more happy about it. There's only 3 vehicles in a platoon box, but if you need more than 3 Jagdtigers, you're doing it wrong. Plus the Jagdtiger is not just for flames, appearing in Late War Leviathans and Clash of Steel. Frankly, these are better games for this late war monstrosity. I hope you found this review useful. Are you planning to field any Jagdtigers? Do you think they're worth the points? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.